Hello, my friend. Take a deep breath with me right now. Inhale slowly. Hold it for a moment and exhale, letting go of whatever weight you've been carrying today. That's it. Now, lean in a little closer to your screen because I want to talk to you, not as some distant expert on a pedestal, but as a fellow traveler on this road called life. My name is Dr. James Micheal, and for over 3 decades, I've sat across from men just like you in my quiet office, listening to the stories that weigh heavy on the heart. Stories of quiet frustrations, of mornings that dawn too slowly, of evenings where the spark that once lit up a room feels dimmed by time. If you're over 60, if you've ever caught yourself staring in the mirror, wondering where that boundless energy went, or if intimacy with the one you love has become a shadow of what it used to be, then this conversation is for you. It's not just words on a page or pixels on a screen. It's a lifeline, a gentle nudge toward reclaiming the vitality that's still there, waiting for you to unlock it. You see, I founded Mindful Senior Living because I believe aging isn't a sentence to fade away. It's an invitation to thrive, to weave wisdom with wellness in ways that make every day feel purposeful again. Today, we're going to walk through a journey together, one that's rooted in science, wrapped in real stories from the men I've treated, and guided by the simple truth that your body isn't broken. It just needs the right fuel, the right rhythm to roar back to life. We'll explore 3 powerhouse vitamins that can transform your energy, your confidence, and your connections. But we'll go deeper than that. I'll share the science in plain English, the pitfalls to sidestep, a daily routine that's as easy as your morning coffee, and even the emotional side, the fears we don't always voice, the triumphs that make it all worthwhile. By the end, you'll feel seen, empowered, and ready to take that first step. Sound good? Let's begin, not with facts, but with a story that might just mirror your own. Picture this. It's a crisp autumn morning in 1995, and I'm a young doctor, still wide-eyed from med school, when Harold walks into my clinic. He's 62, a widower who spent 40 years as a mechanic, hands calloused from turning wrenches and hearts from holding it together for his family. He sits down, fiddles with his hat, and finally says, "Doc, I fix engines for a living. I know when something's out of tune, but me, I feel like my motor's sputtering, and I don't know why." Harold's voice cracked just a bit there, enough to tell me this wasn't about check engine lights. It was about waking up tired despite 8 hours of sleep, about pulling away from dates because his body wouldn't cooperate, about wondering if this was all that was left after a life of hard work. That day, we ran some tests, and what we found wasn't a disease or a decline that couldn't be touched. It was a whisper from his body. "I'm missing the basics. Help me rebuild." Harold's story isn't rare. It's the echo I hear in exam rooms week after week. And here's the good news I shared with him then, and with you now. Over 70% of men over 60 are walking around with nutrient gaps that steal their stamina, fog their focus, and dim their drive. But these aren't gaps you have to live with. They're bridges you can cross back to feeling like yourself. Stronger, sharper, more alive. At the heart of it are 3 vitamins: D, B12, and E. Not some exotic superfoods from a far-off jungle, but everyday allies your body once made effortlessly, now needing a little extra hand as the years add up. Let's unpack them one by one, starting with the one that lights the fire in your veins. Vitamin D, the sunshine in your bloodstream. I call it the circulation conductor because without it, your blood flow turns into a lazy river instead of a rushing stream. Remember those summer days in your 30s when you'd spend hours outdoors feeling invincible? Your skin was a factory, churning out vitamin D from the sun's rays, directing it to keep your blood vessels flexible, your heart pumping strong, and oxygen zipping to every corner of your body, including the ones that make you feel like a man in full command. But fast forward to now, less time outdoors, more indoor routines, and your body's production drops by up to 50% after 60. The result? Sluggish circulation that leaves you winded after a flight of stairs, mentally hazy on what used to be simple decisions, and yes, struggling with erections because blood just isn't getting where it needs to go with the ease it once did. Let me paint the science simply, like I'm sketching it on a napkin over coffee. Vitamin D teams up with a molecule called nitric oxide. Think of it as your body's natural vasodilator, the thing that tells blood vessels to widen and welcome the flow. Low D means less nitric oxide, means tighter vessels, means everything slows down. Studies from the Journal of the American Medical Association show that men deficient in D are twice as likely to report erectile dysfunction, not because of age alone, but because their plumbing's clogged with quiet inflammation. And it's not just downstairs. Low D saps your mood, ramps up fatigue, even weakens bones, turning a casual hike into a risky endeavor. But Harold, after we tested him, simple blood work, nothing invasive, and found his levels at a measly 12 nanograms per milliliter, the sweet spot's 30 to 50, we started small. 15 minutes of morning sunlight, no sunglasses, just him and the dawn on his porch. A serving of wild-caught salmon twice a week, rich in D and omega-3s for that double boost. And a 2000 IU supplement of D3, the active form your body absorbs best, not the cheaper D2 that mostly gets wasted. Within 3 months, Harold's levels hit 42. He called me one evening, voice booming. "Doc, I took the grandkids fishing today. First time in years I didn't need to sit on the bank. And, well, let's just say the missus and I are planning a getaway." That's the power of D. Not a quick fix, but a steady rebuild that ripples through your life. Now, if vitamin D is the conductor, vitamin B12 is the fuel in the tank, the energy engine that turns yesterday's meals into today's momentum. Oh, how I wish I'd known more about this in my early days. Take Robert, a patient I met a decade ago. At 68, he was a retired school principal, the kind of man who could quote Shakespeare and fix a leaky faucet with equal flair. But he shuffled into my office like a shadow of himself, eyes dull, admitting, "Dr. Micheal, I love my life. Books, bridge games, time with the kids, but I feel like I'm watching it from behind glass. Tired all the time, brain in a fog, and when my wife reaches for me at night, I just don't have the fire." We talked for an hour, peeling back layers, and the culprit emerged: B12 deficiency, sneaky and silent, affecting up to 20% of folks over 60. Why does this happen? As we age, the stomach's parietal cells, the little factories that produce intrinsic factor, a protein B12 hitches a ride on to get absorbed, start to slack off. Medications like metformin for blood sugar or PPIs for heartburn can compound it. Suddenly, even if you're eating B12-rich foods like eggs, beef, or clams, only a fraction makes it into your system. And without B12, your body can't forge red blood cells properly. Those are the oxygen couriers, delivering vitality to your muscles, your mind, everything. Low B12 means anemia creeping in, nerves fraying like old wires, leading to that pins and needles in your feet, memory slips that scare you, and a libido that's as flat as day-old soda. The fix? It's elegant in its simplicity, but it saved Robert's spark. We switched him to methylcobalamin, the bioavailable form of B12, not the synthetic cyanocobalamin that many drugstore bottles peddle. 1,000 micrograms sublingual, under the tongue each morning with breakfast, paired with fortified cereals or a weekly lean steak. It was like flipping a switch. 4 weeks in, Robert emailed me a photo. Him on a tandem bike with his wife, grinning ear to ear, wind in his hair. "Fog's lifted, Doc. And the fire? It's a bonfire now." Science backs it. A study in the New England Journal of Medicine found B12 supplementation improved cognitive function and energy in deficient seniors by 40% within months. It's not magic, it's methylation, the process where B12 helps convert homocysteine, a fatigue-inducing toxin, into harmless methionine, freeing your cells to hum. But energy without protection is like a sports car without brakes. Enter vitamin E, the guardian angel of your vitality, the antioxidant shield that fights the invisible battles of aging. I think of James every time I prescribe it. At 71, he was a former airline pilot, disciplined as a Swiss watch. Gym 3 times a week, kale smoothies for breakfast, the works. Yet he confessed over tea in my office, "I've logged more miles in the sky than most men drive on Earth, but lately I feel grounded in the worst way. Drive's gone, recovery slow, and I look at my reflection and see a stranger staring back. James's eyes welled up, not from weakness, but from the raw ache of feeling unmoored after a lifetime of command. Vitamin E stepped in as the hero. Known as the fertility defender, it's far more. A fat-soluble warrior that neutralizes free radicals, those rogue molecules from stress, pollution, and time that inflame your arteries and erode testosterone factories in your testes. After 60, oxidative stress spikes, narrowing blood vessels and tanking T levels by up to 1% a year. Erections falter because vessels can't dilate. Mood dips because serotonin pathways clog. Even muscle repair slows, turning workouts into echoes. But E, it keeps vessels supple, boosts endothelial function, the lining of your arteries, and even enhances sperm motility while supporting hormone balance. A meta-analysis in Fertility and Sterility Journal linked E supplementation to a 25% testosterone uptick in older men. For James, we wove it in naturally. A quarter cup of almonds mid-morning, toasted for flavor and paired with berries for synergy. Spinach salads with olive oil dressing. E loves fats for absorption. And a 400 IU natural mixed tocopherol supplement, the full spectrum, not the isolated alpha that's half as potent. 6 months later, James landed in my office with a pilot's logbook turned journal. Entries of renewed flights, not in cockpits, but in life. Hiked the Grand Canyon rim with the sons. Felt the rush again, Doc, and at home, we're soaring. That's E's gift. Not just protection, but permission to pursue passion without apology. Now, imagine these three not as solo acts, but a symphony. The Vitality Triad, where D opens the pathways, B12 powers the pulse, and E guards the gates. Alone, they're strong. Together, transformative. I saw it unfold with Walter, a 66-year-old coach whose playbook had run dry. He'd dabbled, D for bones, B12 for pep, but stacking them, game changer. His nitric oxide surged, red cells multiplied, antioxidants mopped up damage, testosterone stabilized, energy compounded. Walter didn't just walk more. He led his old team in a charity game, then whispered, "The bench is empty these nights." Synergy isn't buzzword, it's biochemistry. D enhancing B12 absorption, E recycling D's potency. A study in Nutrients Journal confirmed. Combined supplementation improved erectile function scores by 60% in seniors versus 30% solo. But here's where hearts sink and hopes flicker. The trap so many fall into. Gerald, 73, a voracious reader, showed up with a pharmacy and a pillowcase, bottles rattling like accusations. "I've swallowed the rainbow, Doc, but I'm still dragging." We unpacked it. Cheap synthetics, D2 from yeast, cyano B12 that's 70% unabsorbed in older guts, DL-alpha-E that's pro-inflammatory in excess. And the rhythm? Sporadic, like weekend warriors chasing Monday blues. The body craves consistency. Vitamins build cumulatively, not in bursts. Gerald switched to pharma grade. D3 cholecalciferol, methyl B12 lozenges, gamma-rich E, daily, with meals for bioavailability. A month later, I'm not fixed, but I'm forward. Avoid the pit by consulting your doc. Blood tests first, then tailored doses. No megadosing, balance is king. Let's make this yours, a routine as familiar as tying your shoes. Meet Frank, 64. Carpenter hands now more story than tool. He dreaded complexity, so we crafted ease. Dawn ritual, water glass, B12 melt under tongue, then porch steps in sunlight for D breakfast. Eggs scrambled with spinach, E sneak in. Lunch, tuna salad on greens, olive oil whisked. Snack, almond fistful. Evening wind down. Gratitude journal, because mind fuels body. Frank's transformation, from sawdust naps to building birdhouses with grandsons, intimacy rekindled like embers to flame. Yours could mirror week 1, sunlight and foods. Week 2, supplements if tests say so. Track in a notebook. Energy on a 110 scale. Adjust with your physician. It's not overhaul, it's ownership. Yet, let's pause here. Hearts open. I know the whispers. Is it too late? Have I waited too long? I felt them myself at 55, post-divorce, staring at a stethoscope like it mocked me. But healing isn't linear, it's layers. These vitamins aren't band-aids, they're blueprints for resilience. They touch the soul, restoring not just function, but feeling worthy. I've held hands with men who've lost partners to illness, only to find love anew because they found themselves first. You're not fading, you're forging. The data sings it. Longitudinal studies from Harvard's health professionals follow-up show men optimizing nutrients post-60 add years of vigor, slashing depression risk by 35%, boosting relationship satisfaction. And let's talk mindset, because pills without purpose are pebbles in a pond. Mindfulness, my channel's heartbeat, is your anchor. Start with breath. 4 counts in, 4 hold, 4 out. When doubt creeps, name it. This is fear, not fact. Surround with tribe, men's groups, walks with buddies. I host virtual circles on mindful senior living. Join us. Nutrition pairs with movement, Tai Chi, flows for flexibility, weights for testosterone, sleep sanctuary, cool room, no screens, post 8 p.m., hydration hymn, half your weight in ounces daily, layer it, and watch walls crumble. One more story to seal this in your spirit. Elias, 75, immigrant tailor, whose stitches saved for dreams. Prostate scare at 70 left him hollow, intimacy a ghost. We layered the triad, D for flow, B12 for fire, E for fortitude. But Elias added ritual, sewing affirmations into hymns, I am enough. A year on, he danced at his granddaughter's wedding, partner in arms, tears of triumph. Doc, he said, threads hold fabric, vitamins hold me. So as our time wanes like a cherished sunset, hear this, you are not your aches, your hesitations. You are the architect still. Start tonight. Sunset stroll, almond crunch, a vow to test levels tomorrow. Consult your doctor, personalize this path. If this stirred something, like below, share with a brother in arms, subscribe for our weekly whispers of wellness. Comment your win, your wonder, what ails, what inspires. We're in this tapestry together. You've journeyed far today, my friend. Carry this light. It's never too late to stitch new stories. Rest well, rise renewed. Until next, Dr. James Micheal, signing off with gratitude for you.